Hey, this is Ken Casey from the Dropkick Murphys, and I love the Grandstanders! Take it away, kid!
Hello and welcome to another edition of Grandstanders Live. I'm your host, Scott Kerman, and I'm joined by my usual cohorts, Uncle Joe McLaughlin, and he's the barber to the stars, Hollywood Pete McGilvery. Well, we have another great show for you tonight. So, boys, let's get started. First of all, of course, we want to thank our sponsor, Dante's Pizzeria, 415 Harvard Street. David came in, the owner, David came in. He's like Santa Claus. I didn't even see him.
Comes and goes. The pizza's delicious, though.
But then all of a sudden you're smelling it, and you know David's been here, and it's Christmas in October.
You got to beat the staff here to it, though.
Yeah, right. But 415 Harvard Street, make sure to come there. Say hello to
David or Dante's father.
Or Dante, the father, and please patronize it as much as possible. And also, before we get started, I want to wish my lovely wife, Adrian, and I happy anniversary tomorrow.
20
years. The best decision I ever made in my whole life.
Wedded bliss.
Absolutely. She's the best. Absolutely. I married really up. Yeah. So, all right, we get started.
Excuse me, before we start the show, can I make a request?
Go ahead.
I really want to get rid of the Wiggles.
No. All right.
I'll trade you.
We are the Wiggles. Oh, my God. Oh, that's it. All right, there's some animosity. He has Wiggles animosity. Do that.
Well, I'm looking around. I get the Wiggles. Everybody else gets good stuff.
Joe gets Ryan Gomes.
I had the Minion.
Yeah, you did have the Minion.
I don't know if someone took the Minion from me.
I don't know. I think it's on eBay. All right, so we get started with breaking news from the Grandstanders Live desk. As I predicted about a year or two ago, John Farrell has been fired from the Boston Red Sox, and thank God. I mean, that's just like a pimple that finally got popped, right?
I hope the other party.
Right? It's right. It's just been dangling there with this white gooey stuff. And,
okay, all right.
I understand it, right? Look, this is a guy that has always been a poor in-game manager. His strength was supposed to be in the clubhouse, and this year he failed at the clubhouse, not as much as the in-game manager.
Yeah, it's a tough one because, let's face it, the guy won games, and you can't get away from that.
Right.
He won a World Series recently.
Yeah.
Been to the playoffs, and he's done more than most coaches, managers, but yeah, he had to go.
Yeah, you have to be able to regain the clubhouse. Look at Belichick even. He's lost the clubhouse a number of times in his tenure. And if he has to fire the whole team, he will to regain control.
It is conflicting, though. I mean, did he lose the clubhouse? Or did they love him for standing up?
We lost them, I think. The ratings are down, and someone's going to take the phone.
No, he lost the clubhouse.
Someone's going to take
because we saw examples of it. The curtain was pulled. Dustin Pedroia in April, with the whole Baltimore Orioles thing.
I think that's the beginning of it.
That was terrible.
Right, the Eckersley Price situation. Yeah. All these situations John Farrell did not take control of, and that's his job.
But didn't make any apologies for it either.
No.
I mean,
he backed the players all the way.
Yeah, he did his thing, and he didn't care, and maybe somebody else did that, we'd say.
But in some ways, he was silent, and that's where he went. And his silence spoke volumes.
He was definitely that.
He was backing the players against the media, and ownership and management definitely wants the media on their side. That's their bread and butter.
Right. And look, like you said, he won a lot of games, won a World Series with the Boston Red Sox. So he had some pull in the organization where he could speak out, right? This wasn't a young manager still trying to figure things out.
No, he had the wins. He had the collateral,
And he chose not to, right?
Yeah.
So losing the clubhouse when that was supposed to be his strength, and then having a team that, like you said, the locals aren't that interested in it right now, right?
I think the whole management team, Chili Davis, Butterfield, as much as everyone likes him, you know, I mean,
The drinking buddy Carl
Willis, yeah.
so how long can you go with those guys?
And nobody got better this year. Nobody got coached up, did they? Right? And all of a sudden, you have one situation that people didn't mention today. The Red Sox tickets, $19 on StubHub for infield grandstand. Game 4, people were trying to dump. That shows you that in the most exciting game of the year, the Boston fans really didn't care at all.
They checked out.
That used to be a $500 ticket.
Yeah, right?
The Patriots had begun. They checked out.
Yeah, and so all the anger this offseason was going to be on one guy. It was going to be all about firing Farrell, right? So they had to do it for marketing purposes too, don't you think?
Well, and they did it sooner than later.
Oh, yeah.
So now we turn to, you watch your Grandstanders live.
Yeah.
You know who I've been talking about for a couple of years.
That's the other side of I was going to say the other side of that prediction 3 years ago of Farrell being fired. Let's hope it happens.
Nobody has done that. Nobody has carried
3 years
the
ago
torch.
on this very show.
I don't know if we're going to be able to deal with this if they ever make Varitek the coach. I don't know how we're going to be able to come in here on Wednesday night.
Because the prediction.
Oh, he'll be wearing the hat around town.
Because the prediction, look, time means nothing. I predicted that John Farrell would be fired at some point, and the next manager of Boston Red Sox would be Jason
predicting
Varitek.
that for 5 years.
And that looks like it's quite possible.
Yeah. Well, there are a number of other competitors there. Di Sarcina.
Oh no, come on.
Osmus, Alex Cora. I mean, there are some. I'd like to see Varitek just because he's one of ours. You know, I always root for the Red Sox, and that's where I'll go.
I'd like to see someone that could stand down David Price. Because
I think Varitek would.
That's what Varitek, yeah.
Osmus got along.
I think so.
Osmus had him before,
and they got along fine. I think it's something to do. Varitek's a catcher too. Osmus is a catcher. Varitek's a catcher. I think catchers can handle pitches.
Varitek and Pedroia were teammates, were they not?
Yes.
Yes. But Varitek brings a lot of marketing to the Red Sox too. You know what I mean? All of a sudden, people, right?
Pictures of A-Rod will go up everywhere.
Right, but right. People are engaged if Varitek comes in there, right?
That's a fond memory for all of us.
Look, Red Sox are very interested in selling lots of tickets next year, and they have to bring in some guy that's a face of the team right now.
They've got to sell 35,000 seats 81 times,
So what do we have? Do we have a contending team now, or do we have a team that needs to be gutted?
No, not gutting. We have a good young team, but what we learned, I think, from playing the Astros are their young players were a lot better than our young players.
That's exactly right.
Their guys got 20-plus home runs.
They could do everything. They could do everything we could, plus hit for power.
Yeah, and the whole idea that you can have a third baseman that doesn't hit 20-plus home runs, or you can have a first baseman that doesn't hit 30-plus home runs. Not the new MLB guys.
No.
You need guys who have power and have everything.
Well, we certainly didn't have power. We all know that. But to me, my key observation to the series is I really thought that the Astros looked a lot like Cleveland last year.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as the unity in the team, and they were up on it's easy to do when you're winning the game.
And they have a good young manager in A.J. Hinch,
They just looked gelled.
engaged.
They looked different than we did.
Yeah. And they had guys like Carlos Beltran coming off the bench, right?
Yeah, the wily veteran.
Wily veterans, keeping everybody in line. Who do we have keeping everybody in line? Hanley Ramirez?
Yeah.
David Price.
And that just, David Price. And that just shows you about Hanley, what a dog he was. I know we can say Hanley showed up for Game 3 and Game 4, and at one point had 6 straight hits. But where was he?
He's going like this to the coach in the clubhouse.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. That was a message to them for not playing him.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
But the other 162 games, he can't even be bothered.
He's doing a throat slit.
Yeah.
Whose throat does he want to slit?
Priceless.
I know, right? And everybody's getting into it, and he's sending a message to Farrell like, F you, why didn't you start me? Right?
Yeah. I'm going to get you fired.
I mean, that just shows you. Look, Dombrowski hinted in his press conference today that John Farrell was gone no matter how successful this playoff run was.
Did you believe that? I do not.
Well, I mean, obviously, if they won the World Series, you could.
Well, if they'd won this series and lost the next, he still would have been fired. I don't know about if he'd gone all the way and won the World Series.
Boy, it'd be awfully tough to fire a guy that wins the series.
Not when I would say.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
You know, I put the blame on, like you, on Kyle Willis, Chili Davis, and Butters.
Would that have been enough, Joe? Would that have been enough?
But that
for the
wouldn't
fans?
satisfy 80% of the people. I'd say 80% of the people I know are anti-Farrell.
Yeah, they
There's
need
only
to
a
see
few
his
of us
head.
in the pro-Farrell camp.
Yeah, they need to see his head.
Yeah, but you know, Farrell didn't have those guys running into outs, and he did. You know, he could have handled the pit. He is supposed to be a pitching coach too, right?
Yeah, but that left the barn a
And
long
who-
time ago, right?
Yeah, but I mean,
Those starters
at the end
were
of the day,
abysmal.
when you needed a win to keep going, one win, your two best pitchers didn't deliver.
Well,
right?
Kimbrel didn't deliver.
Sale.
No, still pitched well.
He pitched
Lost
well,
two
but
games.
still, he gave up the dinger there because he wears down. The book on him is that he wears down. I love him. I think he's the greatest. Don't get me wrong.
No, I don't blame him for that.
No, like I said last week on the show, I didn't see him win a big game all year. And I knew he wasn't going to win anything in the playoffs either.
Well, Sale was not the
didn't play
problem.
well in big games.
He's not the problem, but he's not
No.
the answer either.
No, he is the. Well, no, he is the answer. He's your number one starter, Joe.
Well, you're not going to win with him.
Oh no, that's not true.
Well, but he couldn't get you to 2 games. To Joe's point.
Look, a lot of the number
They
one.
lost 3. He lost 2 of them.
Joe, no, a lot of number one starters in the playoffs right now have had.
Oh, yeah,
performances.
Kershaw, for
Kluber
example.
and stuff like that.
Verlander.
Okay, he was gutsy. I'm not taking that away from him. All I'm saying is the 2 best players or the 2 best performing players on the 2017 Red Sox didn't really deliver.
Oh, in the playoffs, absolutely.
Well, we're
right.
talking about the playoffs.
Yeah, right. No, you're talking about that particular
And
game.
the 2
yeah.
guys
Yeah.
who didn't deliver all year were the best players, and Hanley and Price were the only ones who delivered in the
great. That's
playoffs.
a
The two
And they
biggest,
stunk all year.
yeah, the 2 biggest dogs, right? All right, so-
Which explains the Red Sox,
Yeah,
really, you know?
that's why we didn't really go for them this year.
all right. You know, I've changed with Dustin Pedroia. I'm back and forth, but now I'm done. I'm done with Dustin Pedroia. He's the old guard. If anyone needs to go and never play another game with the Boston Red Sox, it's Dustin Pedroia. Let's be honest. That was disgusting what he did after getting a called third strike, which actually was a strike.
That was a close pitch.
Right. But he argued with the umpire. The young umpire walked away, and Pedroia knew he stepped over that line and continued to argue with him.
He wanted to get
He
Farrell
wanted
thrown.
to get thrown out.
He
wanted out of that
He
game.
was just into the game. He was competing, and he
No, but come
felt
on,
like
Pete. He
took the
knows
pitch
what
away from him.
he knows what crosses
He's
the line.
been in
and what
1,000
Wait.
major league games, you know?
He wanted to get thrown out.
He wanted to get thrown out of that game. Absolutely.
He went back after them, too, after the first go-round. He kept it up.
This
Wanna
is
know
the
something?
second
But
inning.
But you know what? The pitches got a little better after that whole dust up.
Wait, Farrell, who actually does his greatest act as a manager of the Red Sox, in his last act,
Fell on his sword.
exactly, he went out there, knew he had to get kicked
Thrown
out of the
out.
game as opposed to Pedroia. And Pedroia knew it too. Right? The moment, you're not supposed to argue balls and strikes, Pete. And he wouldn't stop.
It's not
He's
like
a
that.
competitor. He's
He
a
didn't know.
competitor.
Pedroia is a boorish act. Okay, do you remember when Kevin Youkilis in 2012
Oh,
with the
yeah.
Valentine
Yeah.
thing? He said, "Well, that's not how we do things around here." He was gone weeks later. Okay, because he was the old guard. Pedroia is the old guard. We're not winning another World Series with Dustin Pedroia at second base.
Well, I don't think you have to worry because if he goes under the knife, he's not going to play next year. And I don't think I can ever remember a guy his age sitting out a whole season and then coming back. Can you?
No, they're just gonna pay him off.
It's very reminiscent to me of the Nomar situation. I mean, who didn't love Nomar?
Yeah.
Okay,
Right.
and who didn't
He was the
love
fan favorite.
Pedroia?
Yeah.
Right.
And then I guess if it stays on the shelf long enough, you're not going to like it anymore.
Well, I got to say,
Yeah,
I've been
right.
humbled
That's a good
by
point.
him before. He made a great comeback, not this last season, but the season before last. He had a great year, and I never thought it would ever happen again.
Right,
He
but
humbled me that year. Maybe he can do it again.
look, we need to get big production out of our second baseman moving
He should-
forward,
he
right?
should- he
We
should-
need a guy who can hit 20-plus home runs, and Pedroia's not that type of player anymore.
He should go to Cleveland with Tito and be happy. They can
Or,
play cribbage.
or
Yeah.
at the very least, if he does play for the Red Sox again, he'd just be some super utility guy.
Yeah.
Nah, do you think he'll accept that role?
Wait,
Well, he was
or-
almost in it.
Yeah, what he's making like $15 million a year.
Wouldn't you
I think
rather
he'll
have
accept it.
Nunez playing right now?
You know what? Yes, I would.
Yeah. And that's going to be an interesting, I think out of all the guys who are going to be gone, the Morelands, the Chris Youngs of the world, Nunez is the most interesting, right? Because now all of a sudden his price goes down because of this knee injury, and he may become affordable and reasonable for the Red Sox to retain, right?
And
He must have liked his time here, I would say.
Yeah.
And if Pedroia does indeed have to sit out next year, he'd be the perfect guy to put right in there.
What about your shortstop?
Look, Xander has been the problem all year, that we didn't get production out of Xander. And
He's got a bad hand.
Look, and it might be, right, that's quite possible. And it's definitely Chili Davis effect, too. So I think that you keep Xander only because you get a new batting coach in here, this kid gets healthy, and then you see what you have.
Because he's young enough to still be somebody.
Be a superstar.
Yeah.
And do you really want to send him to another team and get 30 cents on the dollar, and then all of a sudden...
When he should be hitting 320 every year.
Yeah, but is it Chili Davis's fault that Xander Bogaerts isn't hitting, really? Do you think?
Oh, Jackie Bradley Jr. isn't hitting, and Mookie Betts isn't hitting. All these guys went down.
Yeah, everyone played under their baseball card. The back of the baseball
they're
card
the Boston
this year.
Red Sox. They're going to go out and get Giancarlo Stanton, and then everybody will be happy.
Or they're going to get J.D. Martinez. Yeah, they're going to spend money.
I would prefer to go the Martinez route, but John Henry likes the big splash.
50 home runs a year is nothing to sneeze at.
He likes the front. He likes his news to be on the front page of the paper instead of just on the front of the sports page.
Yeah, because remember,
you have to admit. Now I don't. You have to admit this game. They're losing the game, and then Devers comes up and hits it inside the park. How much fun is that?
I know, my
It
God.
doesn't end with this guy.
I know he doesn't.
Yeah.
And I don't think he even knew he had a.
And I couldn't believe Butter was letting him go to home. Of course, because Butter lets everybody go home.
He did a maul and stop and start.
No, I know.
This kid is fun.
Had Kimbrel not given up that junk run in the ninth, that would have tied the game.
Didn't you have the feeling that Josh Reddick was going to do it? Didn't you have that feeling?
Well, Reddick was putting up a good up at bat. Yeah.
He's tough.
He was on him.
He's a
Tough
tough
out.
kid.
Kimbrel spit the bit. In the most important time, Kimbrel chose to suck. That one time. And he's been fantastic
He's
all
been
year.
lights out.
Yeah.
He's been an MVP guy.
All right, so who could go? First of all, let's do the Untouchables. The Untouchables on the Boston Red Sox is Devers, Sale, Kimbrel, Betts, Benintendi, and Vasquez. Anyone else could go. Would you agree with that?
Vasquez is untouchable?
Yeah, I think he is.
Yeah, it's a position of importance, and you've got a guy there.
Yeah.
I think you have to.
Who's reaching some level of stardom, I think, for the catcher position.
He hit almost 300 this year.
This is too much of a small sample size for him.
No, but catcher position, you know, I mean, there's not a lot of great catchers.
Not a lot of catches that hit 300, that's for sure.
You could get a lot for Vasquez. If you're really interested in Stanton, it's really Vasquez who would have to be part of the equation.
Yeah, because he's got still a lot of years.
Yeah, then you have 10 years.
Well, I would agree.
I mean, do you agree those guys are untouchable?
Yeah.
Would you add anyone on that list?
I was just trying to think of that.
No, sir. And then my deal for Giancarlo Stanton, again, I know you guys don't like it. Bradley, Xander, and Erod, and a prospect for Giancarlo Stanton. Take into account that we got to get $285 million in contracts back.
I think it'd be great, and
would the Marlins do it?
The Marlins will like having Xander's from Aruba, an island. There's a big island population. Same with Erod. They have a big, Caribbean population in Miami. These guys, you play to the, your audience.
You give them two legitimate starters and a potential
goes right
number two starter.
And an all-star. JBJ's an all-star.
Right. Look, it also, but remember, it also always comes down to this. Do you have any better offers on the table?
Yeah.
And that's
because they want to move him. Yeah, I mean, Jeter's firing everyone down there to save a buck, so he'll want to move him.
So,
he's going to be moved for sure.
The hot stove circuit is going to be really hot, and we're going to enjoy saying it for the next till April because that's what we have. So we go to the Patriots, and Brookline's own Tom Brady is hurt, and I told you Giselle's not happy. Why is Brady, if he's hurt with this shoulder problem, why is he playing this week? And why isn't Jimmy G playing against the Jets?
This is the ulterior motive.
This show. It's an I told you so show.
Jimmy, it's time. It's Jimmy G's time.
Yeah.
Right? It's time to shine for Jimmy G.
I think he's the leak that's told everyone, That
They didn't get
Brady was
hurt his
right.
shoulder?
You know what's very interesting? I don't know if you guys follow the fantasy football. I don't, but I was told this. Last week, Jimmy G's fantasy numbers were very high to get him. So someone knew something about Brady.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah?
I was shocked.
Maybe Jimmy G.
Maybe Giselle? Maybe Giselle was putting the money toward Jimmy G. Because you can always like money,
I'm
right?
keeping my Tom at home.
Yeah.
Well, look, the kid's taking a beating back there.
Yeah,
Jimmy
and he's
G
not going to
will-
last the season.
Well, I think
Jimmy
they're going
G
to have to
will
change
too.
their offense. The first 4 weeks, there've been a lot of long patterns, a lot of 5-step drops, things that take a while to develop, and he's getting killed. So I think this week you'll see a lot of running plays, a lot of quick passing. They'll change the offense to give him a break anyway.
But you tell me it doesn't make sense. Here's a guy that didn't play the first 4 games, and look, we kept him on ice. I know it wasn't for sure, because of the suspension, but that sure helped him get through the season.
Well, the problem is twofold, too, because you've taken Brandon Cooks right out of this situation because he needs time to get downfield because he's a straight-down guy. He doesn't have it.
Right.
First couple games he stood there for, but, man, last week he just couldn't.
But also, we
Well-
can't afford to rest Brady right now. We're 3-2.
It's the Jets, though.
Yeah, but look, you're right, but the Jets have a better defense right now. Far better defense than the Patriots.
Well,
as
that
we sit here
defensive
today.
line can be
Won't
dangerous.
you take your chances with the Jets if you're going to do it?
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's why you would
Yeah.
play Jimmy G, right?
Well, as long as you get Jimmy G, that's all that really matters.
I don't think even with their defensive problems that the New York offense scares them
No.
at all.
Who's that? Who they get? Josh McCown?
Yeah,
Yeah,
doesn't
I know.
scare
I know,
them
right.
at all. So I think this might be a week where they kind of tinker with the offensive game plan and take Brady out of it a little.
But is this Brookline's own Tom Brady saying, I want to play, as opposed to what's smart would be to sit out this
It
week?
absolutely is. You think Tom, you're going to have to take him out of there kicking and screaming.
Because if this was any other sport, NBA,
He wants to
NHL, right?
Yeah, no,
MLB, this guy would be sitting this week.
He
Oh,
wants
and
to play,
yeah.
and that's why we like him so much.
Oh, and any other player on the Patriots or any Adams would be saying, no, you're sitting down.
Right. So when I
He's
told
not
you,
any other player, though.
okay, so the whole idea that Bill Belichick has full power in this team is not true. Tom Brady, look, all of a sudden they get in the Brandon Cooks of the world, right? Where they used to not get anybody to help him
Yeah.
out. Okay, now all of a sudden he's playing this week because Bill would rather sit him.
He could really use another tight end besides Gronkowski, because when Gronkowski's out, he's got nobody.
Dwayne Allen may be the worst player in the NFL.
He's worse than that guy from the Bills we got a couple, Chandler.
Oh my God.
He was bad for the Colts. I don't get it.
I don't.
They
He
gave
was
up a
bad.
pretty good draft pick,
2
wasn't
years ago, he's pretty good. He was bad last year.
The Colts very well may have taken us in 2 deals. All of a sudden, we're like, why are we dealing with the Colts? And I don't know, why are we dealing with the Colts? Jacoby Brissett.
Is their starting quarterback now?
And at
Not
the
for
very
long, not for long.
No, but at the very least, Pete, you have to admit, Jacoby Brissett's value, if you were to trade him right now, is far greater than what we received in Philip Brissett.
Well, yeah, but that's
You'd
because he's
get
got,
at least a number one plus.
Yeah, but you can't compare that because he didn't get the minutes with us, and he wasn't going to.
I know, but Pete, we're just talking about a couple of weeks, and all of a sudden.
Yeah, but I know, but how? But his value's gone up because he's performed on the field, and with the Patriots, there was no performance to go by. As soon as they had some performance, they got rid of him.
Maybe we'll see more to a set this week.
Well, this was a fail.
Yeah.
Selling low like they did for Jacoby
No, I was talking
Brissett.
about Brissett. Yeah, Brissett.
Yeah, Brissett. I mean, they sold, right? They sold low on him.
I think they were dying to move one of the
Well, wait a minute,
quarterbacks.
though. He was a third-string quarterback that got some time, and as soon as they gave him
I know,
some
but
time,
the
and he played, they
quarterbacks
got
are
rid of him.
so valuable right now. You know that. Oh, come on. All right, so predictions this week: Jets, Patriots. I predict Patriots 27, Jets 13. Uncle Joe.
I'm going to go lower because, like I said, I think there's going to be more ball control. I'm going to go 19-10. Patriots, of course.
It sounds like a boring game.
Yeah, it's going to be.
Yeah.
Jets-Patriots games are always boring.
Can't
and
be
they go
more
to the
boring
end.
than last week.
Oh my God, that was pitiful.
Cannot be more boring than last
Yeah,
week.
that was really bad. They got to stop playing Thursday night games. They need to listen to us, right? That's just not good.
Seeing that you're so hot on
Yeah,
the street.
yeah, right, exactly.
I'm starting to like those color rush
But then he
uniforms,
brings
though.
up Scott Chandler, and then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, Scott Chandler, right? Yeah.
Well,
And if the Red
namesake.
Sox
Yeah.
hit a home run, they're going to win.
Oh, I know, but that didn't work out. I know.
Not that I wanted to bring that up.
It was looking good. The first 3 games, I was right.
Yeah.
Oh, you remembered. All right, so Patriots Jets.
I think Tom Brady will play. I think Tom Brady will play the whole game, and he'll put up 32 points.
All right. Okay. All right, we're gonna go to the Bruins because Handsome Todd wants it, and you got to throw Handsome Todd.
Wants
Let the producer do what he
Got to
wants.
throw him a bone.
He's gonna get it.
All right, so we have a lot of great young players on the Bruins, right?
Really?
Do you think so?
Really good young players.
You really? All right. Okay. So this year, what are the expectations? Is playoffs the expectations, or
Yeah.
just growth in
Why
in
do
the
people ask
system?
that? Playoffs are always the expectations. Always.
16
right?
teams.
Not in the
Make-
NBA when you're tanking.
I don't know anything about the NBA anyway.
No.
Right. All right. So yeah. Right. So because the playoff season is so long, you gain such. So for young players, you gain so much experience by being in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So it's worthwhile to go through the process.
The intensity is just that much higher.
Right. So are the Bruins a playoff-bound team?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah. I think they're marginally better than they were last year, and they have the potential to be a lot better than last year.
Yeah. I think if you're.
They have a potential to be a lot worse, too.
Yeah, but I think if you're Neely and Sweeney, you're pretty happy with the way things are going
Yeah.
right now. It's very unfortunate that Bergeron, you never want to see that guy out for a shift,
Right.
let alone games. And Backus came into camp in great shape. But by and large, these kids are performing. They're getting valuable minutes. And those guys got to be feeling great about it.
But how
The
about-
coach is terrific.
But how about Torrey Krug? Feels like a guy, obviously he's a small guy for a defenseman. Is he injury prone? Will he always be a guy that's
Broken jaw. I mean,
And he does play a lot of minutes. I mean, not Chara volume of minutes, but he plays a lot of minutes because he's playing on the PK. Sometimes he's on the kill.
that type of injury is not something
But
that you're
it-
susceptible to.
But size-wise, is he a guy that at that position you
He's
can
a pretty-
depend on? I mean, how many small defensemen do you have in the?
The league is turning that way to the smaller, more mobile, quicker out of the zone guys.
Right.
League wide.
Right.
You don't see as many bruisers.
The
And
big
if you do,
hulking
they can
defenseman,
move.
yeah.
The big hulking
Yeah.
defenseman.
All right, so we go to the Celtics and
Wow, that was
well, we get the Bruins. Well, there you go.
Well, he wants to hit his pet project.
Oh yeah. Oh, okay. Jason Tatum is the next.
Deep
All right.
The
On
next.
next, Kevin Durant. Okay, absolutely.
Scott.
Before he's
And-
even played a minute
No,
in the NBA.
he is the next
Before
Kevin Durant.
1
This
minute.
is shock journalism we're doing right
well,
now.
of course.
crazy
Haven't
talk.
you watched the show for the last 6 years?
It's crazy.
He is the next Kevin Durant. Not this season, obviously. People say he reminds people of Paul Pierce. No.
Paul Pierce said that.
No. First of all, he's a lot bigger. He's a lot taller than Paul Pierce.
Yeah.
Well, he's fun, that's for
Yeah,
sure.
he's going to be the next Kevin Durant, kids. I'm telling you, that was a remarkable deal that Danny Ainge did to move back, to get Tatum, and to get that number 1 pick,
Kevin Durant.
Kevin Durant.
I think he's.
Todd, do we have that on tape?
You get that on tape. Kevin Durant.
But
Why
we
not?
did-
Wow.
We did say the same about Fire Farrell and hire Varitek, too.
I am so
but that
hot
wasn't-
right
that
now.
wasn't a great
I am
reach.
so, and wait till Jimmy G ends up game 8 being the starter for the Patriots.
Don't you do that.
Oh my God! All right, but are you seeing signs of Jason Tatum and a guy who can be a star in the NBA?
No.
It's
Not
don't see
yet,
it.
no.
No. I mean, what is it, 2 preseason games?
No, look. Even when you have guys like Coach Brad Stevens, who hates rookies, say the game comes easy to Tatum. That's
We'll
high.
see what kind of minutes Stevens gives him once the season starts.
Oh, he's going to give him lots of minutes.
Yeah.
Joe. Yeah.
I'm all for it, but I'm just a little thrown by the Kevin Durant.
All right, well, you just wait. And then finally, 5 days left before Marcus Smart, we've got to sign him to a new contract before October 16th. Do they get that done? For one of the craziest basketball players I've ever seen play.
I hope so. I think it was a matter of, do we trade Bradley or do we trade Smart? And it seems like the one they
And
wanted to
Isaiah,
keep,
right? There were three.
The one they wanted to keep was Smart.
Yeah,
so
he's
pay
kind
him
of
and
the
keep
glue,
him.
isn't he?
Yeah, I think they're going to get something done because Marcus Smart and the Celtics, that's a nice little relationship, and I want to keep that going.
He was like the jackknife for Stevens. He would put him in covering forwards, guards, everything.
And they
Even
love him.
Centers.
They love him. Well, that's our show. That went quick. I want to thank the boys. I want to thank everyone behind the scenes, of course. handsome Todd, and the lovely and talented Adrian. Please check us out on our website at thegrandstanders.com and tune in again next Wednesday night at 6:30 for another edition of the Grandstanders Live. I'm your host, Scott Kerman. Have a great and happy night. I'm Scott Kerman. Have a great and happy night. The elephants are in town.
Here comes the circus.